Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Marketing and Mindset with America's Supermom. Can you believe we are already into the month of May? I mean, where did the time go? I am excited because this is the month for Mother's Day. And as America's Supermom with 15 kids, yes, that's how many I have. This is a time that I really get excited because, just remembering how fortunate and blessed I am to have a legacy that I'm able to look at every day and just to celebrate with my mom and think about her. Well, with COVID, it's been kind of hard for us to get together, but just the mindset of still being fortunate enough to have my mom around for those phone calls of, Mom, how do you make, sweet potato pie, or whatever, because I was not the cook growing up. My mom came from a family of 12, and I actually was an only child. She had so many brothers and sisters that she was like, "I do not want a bunch of kids. One is enough for me." And then I just flipped the script and now I have 15. So go figure, it's really something how life happens that way. Well, speaking of big families and things of that nature, we are going to be diving into maximizing your superpower with a tribe. This is a group of people that are ride or die, a lot of people say, or they support you unconditionally in order for you to continue on your journey striving for success. So, we are going to dive into how do you find a tribe? What does that look like? And what are the benefits, especially for having a group of people that are with you every step of the way? So I am going to pull some slides up here because I think it's always good to have some visuals, so that you can take notes, right? That's one of the things that helps us to not just remember what we said, but also take action. When there's something about writing things down that makes it even more concrete. And before you know it, you're doing great things, like eating right, drinking more water, right? We can talk about these things, but maybe writing them into our schedule is something about that uh, links up to us being able to have that behavior to match it. So we're going to get started with some slides here. Okay, the first one is really knowing who you are. So I'm so glad to be here as America's Supermom, and just briefly want to remind everybody that I had a struggle with depression for 13 years to be exact, and 3 hospitalizations. And now I am all about reframing that story in a way that serves me so that I may serve others. So that is telling about my journey, the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the lessons that I learned in order for other people to avoid that major pitfall of depression. And now that we're in this global pandemic, you can only imagine what it has been like with the ups and downs with managing a large family. We still have 10 children that are at home and making sure that they're okay, whether they're virtually or in person in school, and all the different modifications that they have had to experience along the way during this global pandemic. So during this time, I thought about, what is a way that I could be proactive with my mental health? And I came up with an acronym for SMILE. So, yes, it's great to have a smile on our face every day, but it also has 5 pillars within that smile that reminds me of how I should be leading myself every day, making sure that I'm getting enough sleep, really monitoring my mood and my inner voice, making sure to take time to laugh, and really gauging what my energy is like. This has really helped me tremendously because I just dived into so many things during the pandemic to help other women, give them some tips and strategies to navigate through working from home and their kids being at home, and I think a lot of that strength and ability to do that was because I was mindful of the things that I needed to do every day to fill my cup up. So the first thing is knowing who you are, right? With your tribe. So what are some of the I am statements that you tell yourself? These are some of the things that I say. I am powerful. I am successful. I am resourceful. I am helpful and I am evolving daily. I love that last one. I'm evolving daily because I do not know everything. This was one of the biggest lessons that I learned on my journey, to let go of that need to feel like I have to have all the answers, that I have to know everything, be a part of everything. That has been a game changer for me. But it's important to know what you're telling yourself because these are the people that you attract, right? Whatever you focus on grows. So you are able to tap into your superpower when you know who you are. And that is really knowing the truth about your story. So in my journey, 13 years of my life was dealing with depression. And I was functionally depressed. It wasn't like I was laying in the bed, not doing anything. I was busy taking kids to practice, back and forth to school, going on field trips, doing things in the community. The list goes on and on. My husband's a pastor, so doing things at church. He's also retired officer in the military. So all the balls and functions that we had to go to. But whenever you're first in a position of telling yourself the truth, letting go of the story that doesn't serve you anymore, feeling like, you are not in alignment with the things that you're saying, that is the first step to really being able to tap into your unique superpower and then being authentic with that. So as a mom, I deal with the same stuff that other moms deal with. You tell your kids 70 times, it seems like, pick your shoes up, put your plate in the sink, push your chair in, get your homework together, pack your lunch. Did you do your chores? I mean, it's just like the same thing most parents are saying. I'm doing the same thing, but multiply it by the number of kids that are at home. Stop arguing with your sister or your brother, right? It just goes on and on. So when you're authentic about those things, those are the things that resonate with other people and it attracts them to you. If I was saying, yes, I'm America's supermom and life is great, rainbows and lollipops, no one could resonate with that because the reality is our kids are struggling right now. They have virtual school in some places, they're wearing masks. They can't interact in the same way they used to. These are the realities that are happening. So, when we have this facade or this image that life is great all the time, it makes us unrelatable. And people don't always resonate with that message. There's a block there, that keeps us separated. So, thinking about that, being authentic helps you to be more relatable to other people. And then just being patient, right? Understanding that although you're on a journey to get somewhere else, it's going to take a little time to get there. Okay. So when you're able to tap into your unique superpower, you are attractive to the next people that are a part of your tribe, people that resonate with your message or what you're trying to build or whatever the case looks like. So, we're going to dive into some of the benefits of being in a tribe. The first thing is support, right? You never have to go at it alone. If you want to start a business, if you want to just be able to talk to someone about some of the things that you're really dealing with, just let someone listen. That is the first benefit of a tribe, right? It is that support that you get to recognize that you're not alone. Part of my journey with depression was feeling like no one understood what I was going through. I isolated myself with my own inner voice. And so I was basically the only voice that I was listening to. People might have complimented me or said other things, but it was just bouncing right off of me. I had a wall that was up that protected me, so I thought, but it just isolated me from other people. So support is a great thing and a benefit with a tribe. The next thing is education. How often have you learned things and then you get with your tribe and you share what you learned? And people say, "What? I've never heard of that." So, case in point, just last week, I did an interview. And as we closed the interview, I made a plea for people to reach out to me in my LinkedIn bio. I had a charity moniker that was put there in my bio on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn now allows you to have an external link where people can click on, right from your bio. So I was doing the interview, got to the end and shared it with my guest, and she was able to learn something new. She said, "Every time I am with you, I learn something new." So you never know what you're going to learn, what you're going to teach other people. Education is a great benefit of being in a tribe. The next thing is strength. You are mighty in numbers, right? So let's say that you want to do a Facebook Live and you've never felt comfortable to get on video. So you get on video, you have a tribe, and you've got that tribe that is an audience for you. You know how you're afraid that nobody's going to watch. So you set a time that's convenient for your tribe, and then they watch it, and then they share it. And from a one person video that you're recording, you can reach however many people that are in your tribe and then some when they share it on their platform. So that's just one example. But just thinking about the ability to know that you can depend on someone, you can call them, you can be mighty in numbers just with a little organization. So the next thing is creative ideas. We hear a lot of talk in business about masterminding, getting with people, and just having great conversation. This is one of the great benefits of being present with your tribe. Oftentimes when we get together, sometimes in groups, we're distracted. What am I going to make for dinner? Are my kids okay at school or whatever? We think about all these different things. But when you're in the moment with your tribe and diving into that, you can come up with creative ideas because you're bringing all of who you are to the table, right? And so when you're able to be yourself, you can bring that, whether you make jokes or, you have a funny laugh or, you just have all these different personality traits. You can bring that to the table, and those ideas can spark even more ideas and more creativity because you're comfortable and you're just engaged, right? And so from that, it just is an abundance of ideas, and just the sky is the limit on the things that we can accomplish when we learn to be our awesome selves and focus on that and be present with our tribe. We can come up with some creative ideas. Okay. The next thing is accountability, right? How often are we saying, "Yeah, I'm going to write that book," or "I'm going to go on this journey of weight loss," or, "I'm going to try to get up earlier and, do a lot of things for self care before I start my day. I'm going to read, I'm going to write," whatever it is, right? A tribe can keep you accountable because it is so easy to make a list of goals and then look up and a week passes by, a month. I mean, we're already in May, right? So we are 5 months into 2022. How many of us had these grand goals for the year of 2022? Where are we with those goals? Are we keeping up with those? Are they in front of us on a regular basis? Do we have visuals? Are we having a checklist? Are we having a check in system. What does that look like for us? And so when you have a tribe that keep you accountable, hey, we're 5 months into 2022. What are some of your goals? What are you doing towards Christmas? Right? Because we say next year, I am not going to wait till the last minute to buy gifts or whatever. So what's that looking like? We have a thing of Christmas in July. Sometimes we uh, have a joke about it, right? And so if you're thinking about Christmas in July, maybe July is the month that you want to start preparing for the holidays, right? Just putting back a little extra every week, month, or whatever as you make it closer to Christmas so that there is more time for you to be intentional and present and not stressed out with all the things that you want to get or different things like that. Even coming up with the theme. Maybe it is relaxation, as the theme for Christmas. So you get people pajamas. You get them, aromatherapy themes. So that way you can have a theme, and so everybody gets stuff in that genre or whatever. And you can buy things in bulk and be done with it, right? The next thing is patience, right? So as we are on our journey, the tribe connects with us usually where we are or where we're headed. If you're on a journey of public speaking, maybe you connect with some speakers or people that still that decide that they want to be speakers. And so you're taking that journey together. Whatever it looks like, there is the mindset of understanding that you're on the journey, that we need to be patient with ourselves. I love the quote that I have been saying like a dead horse over and over again, which is you can't plant a seed today and eat the fruit tomorrow, right? Because it's a process. You plant the seed, it goes through its time in order for it to develop and be fully ripe to the fruit that we are able to eat. So that's a process. So we have to have patience with all that. All right. So those are the benefits of the tribe. Now, so once we have our tribe, it's important for us to think about how we can be a blessing to that tribe. How can we nurture that tribe? And so I'm going to give you a few visuals of things that you can do in order for you to continue to build that relationship and nurture it. So, whatever your brand is, so again, America's Supermom, I'm all about smiling. That's one of the monikers about making sure that you're staying mentally well. So, I have a picture for that. So, that's part of my bringing, a part of my messaging, right? So, whatever that looks like for you, think about what you want to look like and how you want to show up. So, the first thing is we get these notifications about people that are in our connections, right? Our followers or whoever. Congratulate them on the things that they accomplish. However, congratulate them with your brand. So, a lot of these platforms have little quick scripted messages that are already prepared, which that's good, but we can take it up just a simple notch by branding whatever we share with other people so that we can stay top of mind with them and they can resonate with who we are and what message that we're sharing. So, congratulating them on hard work is an option. Another thing is having an amazing birthday. So, this is something that you can get on Facebook, LinkedIn, and it is just so many people that usually comment on somebody's post when it's their birthday. And you may get lost in the sauce, right? So, one way to stand out is to send them a personal message, wishing them happy birthday, right? Letting them know that it's from you. And whatever message. So, mine is have an amazing day, have an amazing birthday, happy to be in your tribe. And if you notice, the message before that said the same thing. Now, people can say, I don't want to say the same thing. But if you think about branding, does McDonald's go around and say, I'm kind of tired of those golden arches? I think today I'm going to put something purple up. Tomorrow it's going to be green. No, branding is about being consistent, doing the same thing, Any place where I go, I look for those golden arches and I know that that's McDonald's. So this is what you want to begin to do with your brand. Get over the fact that it's the same old whatever. Okay. You want to create a familiarity. You want them to know that this is you, that that's your message, that's your moniker, whatever that is. Okay. And then the last thing is doing a review. So, just simply telling them, hey, you are 5-star with me. I appreciate how you came to my rescue and you were my guest when, the person who was scheduled had to back out. I don't know, whatever it is you want to come up with, but doing your own set of reviews and standing out in that way. So, those are some benefits of being in a tribe and some different things that you can do in order to nurture your tribe, but also get the benefits of being in a tribe. And if you have any questions with any of these things, or maybe you want the slides, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have a call with you, a chat about how you can show up, how you can attract the right people in your tribe. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments because I would love to be able to start a dialogue regarding the subject. So I just again want to wish you happy May. I'm so excited to have another month, right? And being able to just start a new month and with a new attitude, because we can get so caught up in goals and quotas and all these different things when you're an entrepreneur, but just having the opportunity to start fresh, right? A new fresh start every month, that is amazing. So I want to thank all of you guys for watching today. This has been a wonderful time with you all, and I want to wish you a happy May and go out and crush it with your goals. But remember to be the authentic version of you, and you will attract people that vibe with that will be a part of your tribe with your vibe. Listen at me. I've got all these different things. It's early, y'all. Forgive me. So, have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.